So once again, hello everyone, and welcome to the pre-conference event for the Lomonosov conference. Here we are going to discuss some issues of artificial intelligence in terms of teaching foreign languages. I do believe that no ChatGPT or whatever will never replace a teacher, but of course we have a huge challenge nowadays, and we're going to discuss it today. So I hope that every presentation will take about 10 minutes, and then I do ask everyone to participate actively, especially taking into consideration that it's so sunny, but you found time to join the meeting. So please do ask questions, comment, agree and disagree with everything, because we still do not have the answer what to do with this artificial intelligence. We need to discuss how our students do use it already, especially for cheating, and we'll try to find some opportunities as usual for us as teachers, how we can make life a little bit easier perhaps for ourselves. And so you can see the topics that will be covered during our discussion. And I would like to give the floor to Victoria Alexandrovna Fadeyeva, PhD in Pedagogics, Associate Professor of the Faculty of Foreign Languages and Area Studies. I will stop my presentation now. So please, Victoria Alexandrovna.
Hello, dear colleagues. I'm happy to be here. Today I'm going to talk about the advantages and challenges of artificial intelligence in education. Anna Petrovna, could you please allow screen sharing for participants? Okay, just a second, please. Can you see my screen with the slides? Yeah.
Yeah, we do see it.
Great. What about the sound? Is it okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, great. So, as I've already said, my topic today is advantages and challenges of artificial intelligence applications and technologies in general in education. Artificial intelligence, of course, the technologies and applications are on the rise and have received a lot of attention in the last couple of years. The technologies are prominently featured as important developments in many documents, and one of them is the federal project, the Russian one, that is called Artificial Intelligence, with the time to adoption of 5 years. Researchers state that there is little doubt that artificial intelligence technology is inexorably linked to the future of higher education. With the heavy investments by the government, private companies, and also non-profit public-private partnerships, it is very likely that this wave of interest will soon have a significant impact on higher education institutions. In Russia, it is planned to integrate artificial intelligence into school education through the implementation of training models and Olympiads on artificial intelligence, form a competency model in the field of artificial intelligence, develop and launch bachelor's and master's programs in artificial intelligence. I would call it shortly AI, if you do not mind. Implement changes in federal, state educational standards for all sorts of programs in related majors and specialties, as well as to provide grants to specialists in additional education in the field of AI. The application of artificial intelligence in education has been the subject of research for already about 30 years. However, on a broader scale, educators have just started to explore the potential pedagogical opportunities that these technologies and applications afford for supporting learners during the student life cycle. The field, artificial intelligence, originates from computer science and engineering, but it is also strongly influenced by other disciplines such as philosophy, cognitive science, neuroscience, and economics. So we could talk about the interdisciplinary nature of the field. Therefore, there is little agreement among the researchers on a common definition and understanding of artificial intelligence in general. The authors conceptualize artificial intelligence as intelligent computer systems or intelligent agents with human features, such as the ability to memorize knowledge, to perceive and manipulate the environment in a similar way as humans do, and to understand human natural language. Dori Jovic defines AI in her article as follows. Artificial intelligence, she says, is a term referring to machines which emulate the behavior of intelligent beings. It is also an interdisciplinary area of knowledge and research whose aim is to understand how the human mind works and how to apply the same principles in technology design. In language learning and teaching tasks, the field that is, well, mostly interesting to us, artificial intelligence can be used to emulate the behavior of a teacher or a learner. Well, so given this understanding of artificial intelligence, we could think about the potential areas or the potential advantages of artificial intelligence in education and higher education in particular. Researchers describe several categories that are available today. So they are personal tutors, intelligent support for collaborative learning, intelligent virtual reality, assessment and evaluation, and profiling and prediction. I will briefly talk about each of them. So let's start talking about intelligent tutoring systems that can be used to simulate one-to-one personal tutoring. They are based on learner models, algorithms, and neural networks. Well, they can make decisions about the learning path of an individual student and the content to select. They could also provide cognitive scaffolding and help to engage the student in dialogue. We could also think about the enormous potential that intelligent tutoring systems have, especially in large-scale distance teaching institutions, which run modules with thousands of students, where human one-to-one tutoring is practically impossible. ITS are presented as rather one-way communication from computer to student concerning the gaps in students' knowledge and the provision of feedback. The next is online collaboration and the usage of technologies of artificial intelligence technologies there. A vast area of research shows that learning is a social exercise, so interaction and collaboration are at the heart of the learning process. However, online collaboration has to be facilitated and moderated, and artificial intelligence in education can contribute to collaborative learning by supporting adaptive group formation based on learner models, by facilitating online group interaction, or by summarizing discussions that can be used by a human tutor to guide students towards the aims and the objectives of the course. As far as intelligent virtual reality is concerned, it is quite often used to engage and guide students in authentic virtual reality and game-based learning environments. Virtual agents can really serve as teachers, facilitators, or even sometimes students' peers, for example, in virtual or remote labs. With the advancements of artificial intelligence applications, we could talk about the renaissance in assessment. So, for example, when it comes to automatic grading or automated essay scoring, technologies could help us, but we should take into account that they could be not used for all essay types, and they sometimes might be impractical to use in small classrooms due to the need to calibrate the system with a large number of pre-scored assessments. But at the same time, the researchers has found that using artificial intelligence technologies could help to encourage more revisions by students. The basis for many artificial intelligence applications are learner models or profiles that allow prediction. For example, we could predict the likelihood of a student dropping out of a course, or being admitted to a program in order to offer timely support or to provide feedback and guidance when it is needed. Despite the enormous opportunities, I have already covered some of them, there are a lot of new risks and challenges that come in with the development of artificial intelligence applications in higher education. For example, in times of budget cuts, it might be tempting for administrators to replace teaching by profitable automated artificial intelligence solutions. Faculty members, teachers, student counselors, and administrative staff might fear that intelligent tutors, expert systems, and chatbots will take their jobs. At the same time, artificial intelligence has the potential to advance the capabilities of learning analytics, but on the other hand, such systems require a huge amount of data, including confidential information about the students, the faculty, the staff, which raises serious ethical issues of privacy and data protection. Many students do not want others to know their private information, such as learning styles or capabilities. They might show concern over the possible discrimination from instructors in reference to learning performance due to special learning needs. Therefore, the privacy issue might be resolved before applying agent-based personalized teaching and learning technologies. Another challenge of applying is concerned with the costs and time involved in developing and introducing such models and methods that many public educational institutions cannot afford. And of course, it is crucial to emphasize that education technology is not only about technology, it is the pedagogical, ethical, social, cultural, and economic dimensions of artificial intelligence in education we should be concerned about. And the danger, of course, lies in seeing data and coding as an absolute rather than the relative source of guidance and support. Education is far too complex to be reduced solely to data analysis and algorithms. Now, I would like us to watch a very short video that is connected with the usage, with the implementation of one of the systems that is called Intelligent Classroom Behavior Management System. It was integrated in more than 200 schools in China, and it works. So the aim is to monitor student participation and expressions via face recognition in classrooms so that the results of this analysis are displayed on the dashboard, and the teacher could analyze and see it. It lasts only 1 minute. I hope that we have time to do that. If you do not mind, I will start it. Okay. I think we could just watch it without the sound because there are subtitles there. Yeah. So it scans the room. All the faces, I guess, are uploaded into the system, and then the teacher could use the statistics to adapt the process, to analyze the behavior, to monitor the feedback, the content from the course, so to say. To monitor attendance, of course, that's quite useful. Okay. Just a second, sorry. So that makes us think about the about this ethics topic. So whether it is whether it really adds some value to the process, or it is just the technology itself. Speaking about the ethics problems, so the ethical issues of using artificial intelligence in education, I would like you to get acquainted with the documents that were adopted in our country. One of them is called the Strategies Regulating Relations in the Field of Artificial Intelligence Technologies and Robotics, again with a time to adoption of 5 years. It was approved in 2020, and up to the 2024 we are to get some results and to work out some approaches. These approaches would ensure the possibility of creating and using technologies in various sectors of economy with the respect of rights of our citizens, and of course ensuring privacy and data protection. I'm sure that these documents are necessary to to work out, to think about, and it would be the guidelines in the common policy of our country. And now I'm going to talk about the results that that we could think of for today. So first of all, of course, it should be noted that the full consequences of artificial intelligence development cannot yet be foreseen today, but it seems likely that artificial intelligence applications will be a top educational technology issue for the next 20 years. These tools and services have a high potential to support students, faculty members, and administrators throughout the student life cycle. The applications that were described in my report provide enormous pedagogical opportunities for the design of intelligent student support systems, for scaffolding student learning in adaptive and personalized learning environments, and at the same time, they could really relieve teachers from the burdens such as grading hundreds or even thousands of assignments, so that the teachers could focus on the main task, that is, empathic human teaching. As with digital technologies in general, digital data does not offer a neat technical fix to all the educational dilemmas, no matter how compelling the output might be. So we should not strive for what is technically possible, but always ask ourselves what makes pedagogical sense. Of course, more research is needed from educators and learning designers on how to integrate AI applications throughout the student life cycle to harness the enormous opportunities that they afford for creating intelligent learning and teaching systems. Well, that is all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I would be happy to share the sources that I've used and to say thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Victoria Alexandrovna. I will be very grateful if you share your presentation. I do believe if the other speakers do not mind, let's share them all together. Yeah, and I will send them to the other participants. So any questions or comments? What do you think, Victoria Alexandrovna? What about the adaptive systems, personalizing learning paths? What can we already try to adopt at our faculty? What is already done, and what are like the nearest perspectives for it? What do you think? What is possible for us already?
Well, thank you for the question, Anna Petrovna. I guess that we have already started to integrate technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, though we sometimes do not call them like artificial intelligence technologies, and I mean courses connected with IT in linguistics, for bachelor's programs and for master's programs. Well, it seems to me that we should think about developing or introducing intelligent tutoring systems when it comes to language learning. I guess that they might be of high potential. Probably we need some assistance from our colleagues from technical faculties to develop such, like specific applications. But I think that it could be a good, quite a promising field and feature of our faculty.
Hopefully it will, because we've already been trying to use some digital technologies and so on. Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. What about the ethical side? What's the attitude of students towards the essays being checked by artificial intelligence?
Mm-hmm. I don't have any data to talk about our students, but when they register on different platforms, they understand that we get some data, and these not even we, but the owners of these platforms, even Google and such, so they do get the data. But the question is that if you do not register, if you not just give the data, you won't get these opportunities to work. And again, it would be quite, it is the question of discrimination again. So I see it as, like an open question. So I think that we should ask students if they are not against using the platform and giving the data, but it should be again limited so that they it seems to me if they want to share, then they are welcome to do it. If not, it's their choice. Otherwise it won't work. I mean, it won't be that beneficial, the usage of artificial intelligence system in the learning process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. By the way, judging by my own little experience in this field, I would say that approximately 70 or 80% of students are ready to share some data, because I will share with you as well at the end of our discussion a QR code to a bot which asks you some questions, and also it asks you to share your social network profiles, because our neural network then analyzes your your language in your speech in Russian language. And like 70 or 80% of the participants, I have piloted it in 3 universities, at our university, at SAFU, and one other university. And so around 70 or 80% of students not only answer the questions, but also share some texts and social networking sites and stuff like that. I will figure out whether you will share it with me or not. By the way, Sergeyevna, would you share your experience at High School of Economics? Do you use any of such artificial intelligence neural networking sites, like in addition to learning management systems? Are there any instruments used?
Well, I don't know about other teachers, but I personally do not use them yet. But I've been playing with Chat GPT. Don't remember. GPT. Yes, I've been playing with it for the last fortnight, and I'm considering the possibility of using it in educational purposes, for educational purposes. I do have lots of questions. Believe me, I'm probably going to be the most active participant today. So yeah, and talking about social networks which students share, and what if their social profile is not representative enough? For example, I do have a social networking account, but it doesn't say a lot about me.
Yep, that's the problem and the challenge for our project, that we try to find different sources of data. We ask the participants of that questionnaire to share some, to copy paste some texts. Then we're going to ask them to record themselves as well, and then we'll figure out which parts of those texts will help us to find some useful data, and will help our neural network to machine learn and stuff like that. So we'll see. It's all like in the process. Yeah. Thank you very much. So shall we go on? And may I now ask our second speaker? So I will now again share, for those who joined a bit later, I will share the whole list of little presentations that we're going to listen to today. So approximately 10 minutes per presentation. And may I ask now Elvira Nikolaevna Didenko to take the floor.
Hello, dear colleagues. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're welcome to share the screen. And Elvira Nikolaevna will share her experience of creating and using a chat bot in
Just a moment.
financial university, we should call it. And
Yeah, financial university.
Right.
Exactly. Just a moment. Yeah. Well, can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. And can you hear me well? Is everything
Yeah.
okay? Yeah. Okay. Dear colleagues, I would like to present you my presentation, Development of Oral Production Strategies using Chatbots in Teaching a Foreign Language to Students Majoring in Economics. In recent years, new computer technologies have been portrayed as placing the learner at the center of networks of knowledge and lead to new forms of learning and education. We can see a new educational environment where technology is transforming the ways students communicate, collaborate, and learn. It could be an effective tool for educational purposes. It has received recent attention and increased research interest. One of the advanced computation technologies that can be used for learning, especially language learning, is chatbot. Chatbot, also called as talkbot, chatbot, bot, IM bot, interactive agent, or artificial conversational entity, is a computer program or artificial intelligence which carries out conversations through audio or text, interact with users in a particular domain or topic by giving intelligent responses. It works by interpreting the message given by a user, processes the intent of the message, determines and executes what it needs to do based on user's instructions, and delivers final result of the program extension to the user. Generally, users interact by giving questions or comments, and the chatbot will provide responses that might include comments, answers, or new topics. More sophisticated chatbots can produce responses such as a further conversation with the user, reading or writing to external systems, for instance, to open a web page or update a database, or a combination of this. On language learning, the chatbot could provide a means of language practice for students. Chatbots are known as advanced forms of human-machine interaction with automatic conversational agents, which link the users and machines with the assistance of natural language processing. Considering this term, experts in this field use chatbots to refer to robotic actions, since it's a special kind of robot that is designed to stimulate conversation with human users via the internet. Moreover, learners are interested in using chatbot because it can be used anytime and virtually anywhere, and that learners are more confident in learning languages using chatbot than when dealing directly with humans. Chatbot has also been reported effective to provide distance education. Based on experimental study on English for students at the Department of Foreign Languages and Intercultural Communication of Financial University under the government of the Russian Federation, the purpose of the study is to examine the effect of chatbot use on developing of oral production strategies and learning vocabulary well. Now my research is ongoing. It is based on an experimental study of two groups, one that practices chatbots and another that practices a traditional approach. The participants are undergraduate students. The course aims to help them be equipped with English at specific professional and academic levels. There are 15 students in the experimental group and 15 ones in the control group. The first group is taught the course with the help of chatbot dialogue. The second group is the control group, which is taught English without the support of chatbots for 2 terms of the academic year 2022 to 2023. There are these research questions. Is there any significant difference between the learners who used chatbots and the learners who used the traditional approach in learning English? What is the learner's perception of using chatbots in learning business English terms? And the third, what are the advantages of using chatbots in learning English? The chatbot is a computer program that is available on mobiles as an application, and the use of chatbots is becoming easy, and interaction can happen anywhere as they are accessible. Participants in this study use their mobiles and check their tasks and speaking skills in the design chatbot dialog flow. To create the chatbot for students from the experimental group, we use BotFather, the official service for setting up and managing created Telegram bots. It doesn't deal with specific functions and commands, only cosmetic changes like the name, description, and avatar. But the main thing is that it issues a unique token that is necessary for authorizing the bot and working with the bot API. Anyone who receives a token will be able to control the bot. You can use it to create new bot accounts and manage your existing bots. Since the study focus is the use and learning of vocabulary and development of oral production strategies, the materials manipulated in the study include 6 units selected from the students' book Complete IELTS bands, 6.5 to 7.5 by Cambridge University Press. Before the experiment, participants took the pre-test to ensure that they have the same level. In addition, the participants in the experimental group, which used chatbots, were provided with the necessary information regarding how the software works. For each session, the participants were required to use chatbots in the inside classroom and outside classroom activities and tasks. Thematic videos were selected for all units, mainly in the storytelling format, and tasks were developed for them. Students perform tasks using microlearning. Microlearning is an approach to learn new information in small chunks at any time. Microlearning sessions are under 10 minutes and can take as little as 1 minute to complete. Microlearning works in synergy with mobile learning so that you can learn on the go. The post-test was conducted for both groups to explore the usefulness of using the chatbot in learning vocabulary because it is an essential part of learning a language. The pre-test and post-test revealed that the experimental group significantly outperformed the control group. An informal interview is another tool used in the study. The purpose of using the interview with the participants was to elicit more data from the participants about using the chatbot and about how and in what aspects chatbot using the conversational program was useful and productive. In total, 85% of them stated that chatbot helped them remember words and speak better. This suggests that teachers should make use of chatbots applications and other digital and distance technology. Thank you for listening.
Elvira Nikolaevna, thank you very much for sharing your experience. I should have noted at the beginning that Elvira Nikolaevna started her PhD thesis under the scientific supervision of Alla Leonidovna, and then Alla Leonidovna asked me to proceed the work with Elvira Nikolaevna, and I'm proud to help partly with this study. If you don't mind, will you please share the link to this English bot in our chat, just if
Yes,
our colleagues
sure.
want to have a look at it? And are there any questions to Elvira Nikolaevna? Okay, so I do hope that like this way of supporting the learning process will dominate, and I really do not support the idea that Skyeng, for example, now are now developing this Keshe robot who stands in for the teacher. I prefer this idea that such bots would just help us, not stand in for us. Yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you very much once again, Vera Nikolaevna. May I now yeah, share my screen again with the list of our presentations. And may I now give the floor to Maria Valerievna Mikhailovskaya, who will tell us a few words about artificial intelligence technologies in interpreter training. So this special part of our linguistics training. So yeah, welcome, Maria Valerievna.
Okay, so thank you very much for such a nice introduction. So I'm going to share my screen in a second. And so my subject, so can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so it will take a while, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So of course I'm extremely delighted to see everyone here, but I feel like I'm meeting all those lyrical digressions, and so let us just get down to business. So the topic of my presentation today may seem a little bit, or maybe not a little bit, but really loosely connected, say, to the overall topic of our roundtable discussion. So, but still, so I hope that you will find or you will hear some interesting bits of information. So today I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence in interpreting and interpreter training. And I would like to pose a rhetoric question, so whether it is evolution or revolution. So during the past decade, artificial intelligence technology has literally penetrated all spheres of human life, and language service industry is no exception. A real breakthrough in technologies could not go unnoticed. Bless you, Anna Petrovna.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so a real breakthrough in technologies couldn't go unnoticed for researchers and professional interpreters who just felt compelled to explore the possibilities of artificial intelligence and find efficient ways of developing various softwares that could be used for interpreting and by interpreters. And now I'm going to make a short demonstration of something, just a sec. And this is, so can you see machine interpreting platform?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going just to make a very short demonstration. So this is the platform worked out by one of our colleagues in Italy, Claudio Fantinoli, and I'm going to read out just a very short extract, and I hope that this platform will cope with interpreting it into French. Just a few lines, if you don't mind. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, my fellow delegates, to all those who dedicate themselves to this noble mission of this institution, it's my honor to speak to you for the first time as President of the United States. So just a little bit further. So we meet this year in a moment of intermingled with great pain and extraordinary possibility. And we've lost so much to this devastating pandemic that continues to claim lives around the world and impact so much on our existence.
Alors juste un peu plus loin pour que nous nous rencontrions cette année dans un moment de grande Douleur et de possibilités extraordinaires et nous avons tellement perdu à faire cette pandémie. Dévastatrice qui continue de faire des victimes dans le monde et en fait tellement sur notre chemin.
And so on and so forth. So at the moment, this platform can work so with the following languages: so English, German, Spanish, French, and Italian, so as source languages, and among the target ones are French, German, English, Hebrew, Italian, and Spanish. So I can only guess.
Alors demandez au moment où cette plateforme peut fonctionner donc avec les langues suivantes.
Okay, it's not English. Okay. So unfortunately, this platform cannot work with the Russian language, but I do hope that soon, so it will be trained to do so. Okay, so and let us get back to my presentation. So yeah, let us meet this slide, and of course I know I can guess what you might be thinking of now, that the future is here. And so, you know, maybe in a way you are absolutely right, but now let us have a look at how it all evolved. So we're going to start with 1991, and so there were first speech translation systems used for limited domains, and usually these were translation systems designed for tourists, and that could help them to be able to ask very simple questions and to understand answers to such questions. For instance, okay, so where is the library? It's a joke. Okay, so where is so my hotel located, and all the like. So the 1990s saw the development of the consecutive translation systems, for instance, verbmobile, and that system could cope with the simultaneous interpretation, but of one or two sentences. At the beginning of 2000s, systems that were gradually used in European Parliament were worked out. And one of them is TT Star. And that system could cope not only with some fixed segments of the oral speech, but that system could perform consecutive interpretation of the full speech. Now, so let us get back to 2012, and this is Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. And this institute, with the Professor Beitbol, worked out a simultaneous translation system that were used for simultaneous interpretation of lectures. And this system was designed for students who didn't understand German, and the system helps them to understand lectures that were interpreted into the English language. So then came 2015, that saw the rise of deep learning, and of course it really boosted all technology, and which gradually led to Microsoft being able to develop some translator applications that were gradually integrated into PowerPoints. Okay, so let us just have a look at some steps of this automated speech translation process, which basically comprises 3 stages. The first one is quite basic. So, and basic technology is used for that, and this is automatic speech recognition. It means that the audio text is transcribed into the source language. Then this transcribed text is translated by machine. It is translated from source language to target language, and then the audio version is generated, which is called TTS. And so you can see just a very, very rough scheme of how this process is carried out. Just a few words about various machine translation approaches used for that purpose. Everything started to evolve with the rule-based machine translation. What is meant by this? So everything was quite primitive and basic. There were manually created rules that were programmed into the machine, and that manually created rules helped to resolve numerous ambiguities, and they could cope with translating sentence structures. Then came the short era of statistical machine translation, and nowadays we deal with the neural machine translation. Statistical machine translation as well as neural machine translation are all corpus-based machine translation approaches. And of course, machine learning methods are used to train these machines or programs to properly translate and to learn translation from data. So a program is shown how humans translate, and then the computer, the program, automatically emulates the human and learns to translate the same way itself. Okay, so let us go a little bit further, but before switching to the second part of my presentation that actually deals with training, interpreter training. Again, I would like to demonstrate something that was worked out by Yandex, and I think so. Can you see my screen? Right. So these. So this is one of the most recent developments presented by Yandex, and I think that you are familiar with that development. So Yandex were the first to elaborate the interpretation provided by neural networks, and just I will just demonstrate how it is all done. I'm going to play a video, and it will be simultaneously interpreted into the Russian language. All you need for that is just to install Yandex browser, and then you will be able to watch all the videos, right, with simultaneous interpretation. Of course, sometimes the quality leaves much to be desired, and of course, so it needs to be improved, but on the whole, it is quite okay, it is decent. And just, I will play a very short video.
Разрешением 28 на 28 пикселей. Но ваш мозг без проблем распознает это как тройку, и я хочу, чтобы вы воспользовались моментом, чтобы оценить, насколько безумно, что мозг может делать это так легко. Я имею в виду, что это и это также распознаются как тройки, хотя конкретные значения...
Good, isn't it? So please don't tell your students about these developments, otherwise they will be watching all the videos, so with this simultaneous interpretation, which is not bad, which is really not bad. Okay, so now let us get to interpreter training. Just wait a sec. Again, getting back to my presentation. So can you see my presentation now?
No.
Okay, just wait a sec, bear with me for a second. So here it is, right? Everything is okay now. Perfect. Right, let us get back to training. And here, so I would like to say the following, that the ever-increasing use of technology in professional interpreting necessitated further AI technology integration into interpreter training. And therefore, the mid-1990s saw the emergence of a new field of interpreting studies, which was labeled as computer-assisted interpreter training. And the impetus behind computer-assisted interpreter training is to exploit the multimedia capabilities of artificial intelligence to enhance the teaching and learning of interpreting in various ways. And basically, this approach relies on three major principles. The first one is the implementation of digital speech banks or repositories that provide students with relevant materials for classroom use or self-study. Then go intelligent training platforms that generate various exercises and incorporate new utilities to increase interaction between the computer and users, as well as to situate learning in more realistic contexts. And ultimately, this is virtual learning environments designed to make the teaching and learning of interpreting more immersive by applying aspects of simulation technology, similar to the one used in computer games. And just one more thing that I would like to show you today, and which can be potentially used for interpreter training. And this is the RSI platform. RSI, so this abbreviation stands for Remote Simultaneous Interpreting. And several days ago, I was interpreting. Yeah, okay, I'm finishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, not the time. We still see the YouTube screen, not your presentation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay. I was enjoying my slides in total silence, and in total, I don't know. Okay, just a sec. This is really strange. Okay, I will just demonstrate those slides really quickly. Is everything okay now?
Yeah, now
okay.
We can see them. Sorry.
Okay, this is just, my trademark, right? To be speaking without slides, right? To be able to speak without slides, right? Where are my slides? Okay, just a sec. Just very quickly. Again, I'm not going to just to reiterate everything that I have already told you about. This is the concept, right, of computer-assisted interpreter training. So these are the main principles, right, that this approach resides on: digital speech banks, training platforms, and VLE, right? And now just a few words about some final stuff. And this is, so the RSI platform. So platform designed for carrying out simultaneous interpreting, remote simultaneous interpreting. And I was lucky to test this platform during the forum of young translators and interpreters organized by the Union of Translators of Russia, the member of which I'm lucky to be. And I was lucky to use that platform while interpreting simultaneously at that forum. And I will just show some bits. So this platform was provided by Translate, and after using it in the field, as we call it, right, I would like to ask that company to provide us with some access to use that platform for training our simultaneous interpreters, because you know that sometimes we do have some problems with the equipment specially designed for carrying out simultaneous interpretation, and sometimes we as teachers, as trainers of simultaneous interpretation, I mean within our faculty, face some problems, right, connected with the equipment. And I hope that these virtual booths will be of great help for us, right? So, and I will just show, and then I will finish, right, my presentation. So again, the weak point of mine, which means trying to find some relevant slide or some relevant website. Okay. Can you see the dashboard? Not yet. Just wait a sec. Bear with me. Okay. So now you can see it. Brilliant. So this is the Translate platform. Here you enter maybe not your nickname, right? But so maybe your real name, if you are not, right, afraid of performing simultaneous interpretation, and if you don't want to be anonymous, right? Okay, I don't like to be anonymous. I hope that, so after so many years, right, of experience and practice, I hope I don't have anything to worry about. So, but still practice makes perfect. So here you can see two channels of audio. This is an incoming audio. So audio can be coming from the floor. So it means from the place where the speakers sit, and then so it can be used also as a relay. Relay interpreting is executed through a pivot, right? Through a pivot booth. But it's not just the topic of our conversation today. Here you can also use two outgoing channels. RU, it means Russian, if you are interpreting into the Russian language, and EN, English, if you are interpreting into the English language. If I press here, it means that I'm on air and everybody can listen to my interpretation. And also I can initiate handover. What is initiating a handover? When I press here, so my partner in the booth has 5 seconds to be ready to start his or her interpretation. There is a translated chat, so but I think it's rather so an interpreter's chat, and I can just write, so give please, it means that I'm ready, right, say to start interpreting. So taking 5-minute break in case I'm out of breath, or I don't know, maybe so I feel like coughing or some stuff like this. And I think that this platform can be used just perfectly for training our budding simultaneous interpreters as well. So, and now the conclusion, right? Because I know that we don't have any time. And so Anna Petrovna is so nice not to have just interrupted me and just let me round everything up. So it would be fair to conclude, right, that AI technology integration and rapid digitalization of interpreting profession necessitated the optimization of interpreting training. Since what might first have seemed as a revolution has already become natural evolution of these activities. And although AI-based solutions seem to be largely immature for use in interpreter training and novice interpreters to have been experiencing and to be experiencing some extra cognitive difficulties while using them, we like to hold hope that in the near future, AI-based solutions will offer more advantages than disadvantages for trainees to embrace and benefit from. And of course, undoubtedly, universities offering courses in conference interpreting should aspire to smoothly integrate AI-based solutions in their curricula, introducing budding interpreters to the concept of computer-aided interpreting. And thank you very much for your attention. So any questions are welcome.
Thank you very much, Maria Valerievna. I would never interrupt you because it has always been like magic for me, all those work of interpreters, and now it's double magic with this virtual reality. And that's really cool that finally at our faculty we can do without this lab, which still is not there. So any questions, dear colleagues?
May I?
Okay, you're welcome.
I've got a question. Talking about the different systems which you showed us, which help us to automatically translate oral speech. How well do they cope with idiomatic expressions?
You can try. So, but the quality is okay, but you can try it yourself, right? So it's free of charge. It's absolutely free of charge. And you know, for many translation systems, idioms no longer represent a challenge.
Okay.
Right?
And I will talk about written translation.
Written translation, so, you know, everything is developing so fast, and even Google Translate, right, can cope with such difficult, right, idiomatic, with not such, but with difficult or seemingly difficult idiomatic expressions.
That's true, but I wanted to bring up the question about localization and internalization of translation. So can they do that?
localization
not
and
there yet.
internationalization. Speaking of, so as for the platform that I showed to you, you know, so this is a demo and this is a free of charge version. Moreover, the Russian version doesn't exist. That's why I'm not here to judge whether they bother about localization, internalization, globalization, and all that stuff at all, right? So whenever they just come up with the Russian version, I will test it and I will share the results next year, or maybe just in some years, right? Okay, after the geopolitical situation comes down, right? And so everything will be more available for the Russian audience, right? I mean, in terms of the European developments and all that stuff, technologies and the like.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Maria Valerievna. May I ask you, like, the most common question to an interpreter and translator? Today, what would you suggest? What would be your recommendation if to use just one machine translation device, one electronic translator? Which one to choose today? We don't know what will be tomorrow, which one would develop better, but up to date, what would you recommend?
So I would recommend DeepL.com, right? So because I think that if I start talking or even advertising some translation systems that, for instance, MamoQ or Trados and so on and so forth, they are pretty expensive and they are used by translation agencies. And if you are choosing among some more or less affordable and just simple platforms or programs or whatever you might call them for your personal use, I think it's DeepL.com at the moment, because all those machine translation systems are fiendishly difficult to use in a way. They're for professional use and they're not free of charge. Once I wanted to install MamoQ, and I know Ilya Mishchenko from St. Petersburg, and they are the authorized reseller of that product in our country, and he charged something about 800 euros or some stuff like this. You know, this is pretty expensive. So DeepL.com will be quite enough.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Would you please share this link, and if it's fine with you, your presentation in our chat? Yes,
Okay.
once again, thank you very much. A few days ago, I came across this, probably it's an additional service to this DeepL Write, which helps to paraphrase and to check everything, like this Quillbot and stuff like that. So more options are available there.
Definitely, it's a very good resource, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So let me once again show our plan. So we are in the middle of our discussion, and let me give the floor to Maria Vladimirovna now, who will tell us a few words about lesson preparation, because we need AI to help us. We always run out of time, I mean, when preparing. So will it help us or not?
Yes, it definitely will.
Good news for all of us.
Can you tell me, can you see my presentation?
Yeah, we do see it.
Everything is okay. Okay. Let me switch off some windows. Okay. First of all, I'm really grateful for being invited to this event. I'm not going to introduce myself, as most of you already know me. I teach ICT technologies at the faculty, basics for linguists, for translators. I also teach English to Chinese students, and apart from teaching, I do my research in the field of English for special purposes. In particular, in the field of aviation, English for engineers. Having graduated from Moscow Aviation University, I desperately wanted to develop the teaching of languages in non-linguistic universities. That is why the topic I'm going to present to you today is lesson preparation with the help of AI. Are there any opportunities for LSP teachers? I'm going to be looking at what can be done by using artificial intelligence, some modern examples of AI-based applications, present-day challenges for LSP teachers, and the solution to present-day challenges. So let's start. As I'm sure you are aware, the use of artificial intelligence in language teaching is becoming increasingly common as technologies advances. AI technologies are allowing us as teachers to move away from using traditional ways of preparing our lessons to a much more efficient and effective method, which in turn can enhance the creativity of our material. But what particularly can be done using artificial intelligence in terms of the teaching process? The first and the simplest way to use AI-based tools is for checking grammar and vocabulary. For example, there are tools which detect errors in written text and offer suggestions on how to correct them. This can obviously save us time and effort, and I'm sure we all know such programs and are already using them. Then AI can also be used to analyze students' responses and generate personalized feedback. This ensures that students receive help and support tailored to their individual needs. Examples of such software applications might be web robots or bots, which were presented today as well. Another way might be personalizing lesson plans according to individual students' needs and goals. By analyzing data from student assessment, AI can create individualized learning paths for each student or recommend activities and resources that are tailored to each student's level of proficiency. And now for my favorite time-saving function, AI can also be used to streamline administrative tasks such as managing students' records, tracking attendance, generating reports, and so on. This makes it much easier for us to stay organized and manage our workload, which I'm sure you will agree can only be a benefit. And lastly, who doesn't have students that lack motivation every now and then? Who would like to find a solution to this problem? AI here to the rescue. With the use of these technologies, we can add gamification to our courses. That might help us to solve the motivation problem by incorporating an element of competitiveness. Most learners, I'm sure you will agree, love to have fun while learning. But talking about examples of AI-based applications, to date, several applications have been created based on the gamification of learning process and personalization of learning paths. Some examples you might know are Duolingo, Memrise, and others. Another example is AI-based placement tests. For example, the ELSA pronunciation test. Such tests offer a series of questions predefined by the creator. Questions slowly build in difficulty based on the user's previous answers. Then we come to different types of chatbots that are available. That allows students to practice their communicative skills by simulating real-life conversations. And one of the latest trends in AI chatbots is speech recognition, which can be used by students to perfect their pronunciation. Other examples include smart notifications, instant feedback, and smart content. A rather well-known example of a modern AI program is the language learning application Rosetta Stone, created by the American EdTech company. This application allows users to study up to 30 languages. And moving on, let's talk about the AI features used by most modern applications. Firstly, we have machine learning and natural language processing. These allow us to create automatically thousands of assessment tests, which I'm sure you will agree is a blessing, as well as assess and grade complex answers in accordance to, for example, CEFR. Next, let's look at another useful feature, speech recognition, which analyzes learners' pronunciation and provide instant feedback. And last but not least, we have real-time object recognition, which detects objects around learners, helping them to build their vocabulary. But what about language teachers, especially LSP teachers? Lesson preparation is one of the hardest and most time-consuming part of a teaching job. I'm sure you agree with me. Teachers usually spend a lot of time trying to find appropriate resources like articles or videos related to a chosen topic. But this is never enough material for a complete lesson. Teachers also need activities to lead in, to pre-teach something, for example, target vocabulary, to provide students with both controlled and free practice. Even though there are lots of ready-made learning material and lesson activities available, they are usually more appropriate for general English purposes. LSP teachers usually spend lots of time and effort creating materials. AI can save us all a significant amount of time. There is a good news. Let me offer you a solution to your time management problems. May I introduce TWEE? It's a new application. This time-saving app permits you to tweak a lesson easily and quickly using the power of AI. This amazing app has tools that help you create reading, speaking, vocabulary, and grammar activities based on text and videos. It even creates short text on any given topic. But the quality of the text is not very good, actually. If you take a look at the slide, you will see some of the brilliant functions it offers, like leading activities for a text, communicative situations with target vocabulary, gap fill exercises, matching, word formation, true, false, topic-based discussion questions. It might find interesting facts and even famous quotations on the topic. Everything we need for a lesson. I have personally tried TWEE. I cannot recommend it enough. I create an aviation-based lesson with nothing more than a regular textbook article and a list of target vocabulary. With the use of TWE, I created a lesson in 15 minutes. Actually, I was quite impressed with the results. I believe such applications might be used in LSP lesson preparation. Of course, such programs will not do all the work for us teachers, but they will definitely make it easier. That is all for today, and thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, maybe I must answer.
Yeah, welcome, Aida Sergeyevna. Thank you very much, Maria Vladimirovna.
I told you at the very beginning that I was going to have many questions. The question is, thank you for sharing. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that application. I'm definitely going to try it. The question is, does it check the answers provided by the students to the activities it creates? Or does it only create like kind of a worksheet and then you print it out and use it in the classroom?
Thank you very much for your question. No, this application just helps us to create a lesson, to create exercises. And now I'm sharing a screen with this application. You might see how many tools there are. It just might help us to build an activity, but it doesn't help us with checking our students. You might see how many different activities in these catalogs. And yeah, I definitely recommend you trying it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria Vladimirovna. I think I will first try this tool this week when we're going to have this Срез знаний. And so probably this tool will help me, because that was a surprise for all of us that we're going to have it. And so I will give you the feedback how it all happens. Thank you once again, and for sharing the link as well. And now may I give the floor to Anna Igorevna, who will tell us a few words, as far as I understand, not only about teaching and using AI in teaching and interpreting that we've discussed, but as well in our research, in our linguistics research.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anna Petrovna. Hello, everyone. So tell me, please, whether you can see the presentation. Is everything okay? Okay. Good. So today I'm going to talk about large language models, the future of science. So to begin with, I would like to state that large language models surely represent a recent breakthrough in artificial intelligence, and the demand for large language models is really high in different spheres, starting with business and ending up with the scientific sphere. Second, a large language model is a kind of a machine learning model which is based on deep learning neural networks, and which is trained on a vast corpus of text data involving billions of words to generate outputs for different tasks which are connected with natural language processing. These tasks may include text generation, sentiment analysis, content creation, question answering, reading comprehension, summarization and classification, and as well machine translation, of course. One of the most important characteristics is that large language models are continuously developing through training on more data and improvements in the deep learning neural networks that enable them to understand language. Such large language models as, for example, GPT or BERT or Lambda are trained using a process which is called supervised learning and self-supervised learning. Supervised learning involves accomplishing several steps. First, a large set of text inputs and their corresponding outputs are given to the model to predict the output given a new input. The model uses an optimization algorithm to adjust its parameters and to minimize the difference between its predictions and the actual outputs. After that, the training data is given to the model in several small batches. The model makes predictions for each batch and changes its parameters based on the errors it sees. This process is repeated several times, allowing the model to gradually learn the relationships and patterns in the data. Generally, the algorithms used in machine learning and deep learning can be subdivided into two models, discriminative and generative. The majority of discriminative models, also known as conditional models, are used for supervised machine learning. They do what they literally say, separating the data points into different classes and learning the boundaries using probability estimates and maximum likelihood. Generative models can be used to generate new data points. These models are usually used in unsupervised machine learning problems. Generative models go in depth to model the actual data distribution and learn the different data points rather than model just the decision boundary between classes. One more concept to take into consideration is a concept of a pre-trained model. A pre-trained model refers to a model or a saved network which is created by someone else and then trained on a large data set to solve a similar problem. AI teams can use a pre-trained model as a starting point instead of building one from scratch. The key to the success of recent pre-trained models or PTMs is an integration of self-supervised learning and transformer architecture. Transformer is a deep learning model that adapts the mechanism of self-attention, differentially weighing the significance of each part of the input data, which includes the recursive output. It is used primarily in the fields of natural language processing and computer vision. Transformers are designed to process sequential input data, such as natural language, with applications towards tasks such as translation and text summarization. However, unlike recurrent neural networks, transformers process the entire input all at once. Transformer-based PTMs include Galactica, GPT, and BERT. Galactica, or simply GAL, was introduced by scientists from Meta AI on the 15th of November 2022. According to the researchers, Galactica is a large language model aimed at automatically organizing scientific knowledge and assisting scientists. It is trained on a large and curated corpus of humanities scientific knowledge, which consists of more than 48 million papers, textbooks, lecture notes, millions of compounds and proteins, scientific websites, encyclopedias, and so on. The authors state that unlike existing language models which rely on an uncurated crawl-based paradigm, Galactica's corpus is high quality and highly curated. Galactica may be of great help to scientists because, as promised, it can summarize academic papers, solve math problems, generate wiki articles, write scientific code, annotate molecules and proteins. And although the expectations were quite high, the reality turned out to be prosaic. Galactica, promoted as a shortcut for researchers and students, was criticized severely by users, and the access to this large language model was closed within a couple of days after the launch. The major problem with Galactica appeared to be its incapability of telling truth from falsehood, which is, of course, a basic requirement for a large language model with scientific emphasis. Users rapidly found out that Galactica generated papers and wiki articles containing misleading or completely incorrect information. For example, the history of Earth in space, which is especially dangerous because it deploys the tone and structure of authoritative scientific information. OpenAI's ChatGPT has recently seen a huge upgrade to GPT-4. So this is a new generation. This update brings, on the one hand, better answers and more accurate information. However, a new study by NewsGuard has discovered that the latest update is easier to convince to spread misinformation, which contrasts actually OpenAI's claims that the GPT-4 iteration is 40% more accurate than of the previous version. So to sum up, although the recent example with GPT-4 shows that large language models are getting much better and developing much faster these days, the area of their application remains limited due to the risks they possess. And one of the prominent examples is actually an attempt to generate a scientific article, and the references list that ChatGPT produces. Yes, all the references, they are somehow incorrect in terms of the year of publication, or in terms of the authors, or in terms of the source of the publication. So we need to take it into consideration, and we need to be really careful with the information, scientific information, yes, that ChatGPT or other large language models provide us with. So thank you for your attention, and I would be glad to answer your questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna Igorevna. I hope that your list of links was not generated by ChatGPT, and it's always incredible for me where you take time, because it seems like you have 48 hours a day, because you have such a range of scientific interests and so deeply go into all that spheres. So, dear colleagues, do you have any questions? Okay, that's a challenge to go deeper into this natural language processing topic. I can share with you now in the chat one manual which I really like on this topic. Or I will do it at the end, probably. Yeah, to save time. And let me now try illustrate this story, I would say, about language models, and continue with some examples of ChatGPT based learning resources that create and generate already content, which is not always reliable, but still exists. So I would like to figure out three main threads from ChatGPT for us as teachers. And so the first thread is that those bots who are introduced as language instructors, they appear every day. And on this slide, you can see a few examples like Alula, Slay, Kana, and of course, a lot of bots in Telegram. And you can see on the left, ChatGPT prompt, and there are a lot of such similar prompts going around the internet, where the users share how it is better to ask questions, to put questions to ChatGPT or services based on it, to use them as language instructors. Of course, we all understand that they do not work perfectly, but anyway, they still try to kind of do a part of our job, because they can put a goal, they can plan a course, then they can create some tasks, offer some materials, give feedback, figure out some errors, and it's kind of a challenge for us. Anyway, I'm sure once again that we won't lose our jobs. However, nowadays, ChatGPT has a lot of limitations, but according to specialists, it will take about 2 years for this technology and for the services based on it to stay in for some jobs like easy programming, like copywriting and stuff like that. But nowadays we can see that, English is its mother tongue, no matter what we do, but we can figure it out, that it still kind of translates everything from English. It's a huge problem about localization nowadays, because, in Russia we can't use the initial site, because we need not only the VPN service, but also we need a non-Russian telephone number to register there. I will share my presentation as well, and here is one of the articles which in details tells us how to fill in this procedure, because we can use some electronic numbers, telephone numbers from the internet or stuff like that. Anyway, of course, we can use some services based on ChatGPT, not the initial site. To it must be added that a few weeks ago, Microsoft added the ChatGPT icon to its searching engine Bing. So from your Microsoft profile, you can ask for this icon. Microsoft adds it normally in a few weeks. And again, there is an article that tells in detail how to do it. Nevertheless, there are a lot of opportunities already for the students to study languages just with ChatGPT, and for us as teachers to use it as a piece of help. I think that Maria Vladimirovna told in detail about all those points. So let me concentrate on a few resources. So the first one, it's kind of fun, but I suggest that you try it, utilka.io. Now I'm kind of in a huge project, in a little project in this Lomonosov cluster, and we are creating these chatbots. And within this project, I participated in March in a hackathon at the economic faculty. And of course, I didn't win anything. But the winner was this Uchilka.io. And the funny thing is that he was the next one to present after me. So after my presentation, he introduced the service which stands instead of me. And this is a site which generates courses on the topic that you ask it. We can now, in fact, follow this link. So you just put the topic. It can tell you that I don't know what to generate on this topic, or it generates a course. Okay, let's open any course. So it generates some content like this, and then it generates quizzes. Of course, this is far away from real education, but just it illustrates the opportunities of ChatGPT, of how it can create a whole course without us. Then the next service is Boom AI, which is kind of Kahoot, and again generates quizzes itself on the topic. So if we go here to generate the quiz, the limitation is that that only 6 people can participate, but for the language for the language or group audience, it's quite fine. And so it generates short quizzes, and then we can play it with our mobile phones. We can share it using this QR code, and then we can have a look. Oh, no, yeah, okay, like this. We can have a look on the quality of questions that it offers. Oh, sorry. Yeah. But these two tools, they generate materials without teachers at all. So they just offer what they generate themselves. As for the bots which are available on Telegram, I prefer this one. Most of them, these GPT-driven bots, they have limitations within 1 day. So you can ask, say, 10 questions or something free of charge for during 1 day, but then you can come back. And so you can generate a test, you can generate a task or whatever with such a thing. But the second threat is that there are a lot of mobile applications like this one, Pixels. And the idea is that with such an application, the student can easily get the answers to multiple choice questions tests. So, okay, AI generates content, but it's quite easy to find answers for it. So it does make much sense to make such tests, to create them. These are the resources that we shouldn't share with our students, but unfortunately, most of them already use them, because I have a course on natural language processing, and I asked at the beginning of the semester my students whether they cheated with ChatGPT, where they had cheated with ChatGPT at the exams in January. It's interesting that all the bachelor students answered that yes, but not all the master students. So they are a little bit like elder, and it plays a role, so to say. And threat number 3 is that it's hard to make home tasks and tests based not only on tests, but on texts as well. Because of course, there are a lot of tools which help us create text, check text, summarize, paraphrase, and all that stuff. So there are a few of them named at the slide. So first, so I would like to say that so the first 3, they check grammar. Grammarly is not now available without VPN. So I do like both these services. The limitations, so to say, are best with this DeepL.com again. As for generating text, again, I think that the best way is to generate them in Telegram if we need to generate something, to make our life easier. But the good news is that within all those services, there are already these systems which check whether AI was used to create a text or not. But most of them are not free. However, we can just ask the bot on Telegram. We can send a text to it, for example, a home task from a student, and ask whether whether GPT created this text or not. And it says normally it can analyze itself. Of course, it works not perfectly with some factual data, because if it's on Wikipedia, nobody knows who took it from Wikipedia. But if we speak about some essays, it's quite fine to use. As for me, I do prefer the last link here, Quillbot, because it's one tool which can paraphrase, summarize, and check this artificial intelligence. As for paraphrasing and summarizing, it's free of charge for a limited text. I do like, what I really do like about neural networks is that we can make a lot of tasks for the vocabulary practice with such things as a scale instrument and other similar things. I do believe that you're acquainted with a scale, which helps us to find examples and to analyze any expressions. And the piece of good news is that it works with Russian as well. And finally, this text checker helps us to adapt texts because it immediately shows us in the text to which level any particular word or phrase refers. And so it's quite easy to create simple tasks with the vocabulary there and to adapt texts relying on that information. And so finally, our project. So we're creating a kind of a neural network. We're using language models which already exist. We don't try to create our own one. Now we use primarily BERT. And this is kind of our MVP within a month, which we created. So this is a bot on Telegram, which offers you a short questionnaire, mainly in Russian. And then our neural network is now learning on your data sets just to analyze your personal vocabulary lists. Now we manually check what it analyzes, so you do not get immediately the vocabulary lists. But I do believe that when we have around 300 or 400 users, then we analyze everything once again through this neural network. And finally, we'll send you all your vocabulary lists and ask for your feedback. So if it all works out, then probably we will try to work on it a bit more to make it analyze not only the vocabulary, but to analyze some interaction strategies and stuff like that. So if you have a bit of time, so then please do follow this link and answer our short questionnaire. Hopefully it will work fine. And let me also share with you here, first of all, the presentation and also this manual, manual on NLP, natural language processing, because we touched upon this topic and it's quite hard, but I like this manual. It's rather easy for these topics to say. Where is it? Where is it? Can see it. Sorry. So it should be. Yeah, so if you want to go deeper into this topic of natural language processing, then you can use this manual. If you have any questions, or comments, I will be happy to answer.
I do have a question. So I might have missed that, but am I right assuming that not only the ChatGPT can write text, but it can also acknowledge its own penmanship? So if we upload the text, it might tell us whether it was generated by AI or whether it was written by a student.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, nowadays, from time to time, like, I don't know in percentage, but still, it can say that, okay, it was generated by AI whilst it was generated by a human, because if the texts are like something from Wikipedia, then it can't say for sure.
Yeah.
But if it's something just argumentative or whatever, then it works. Yeah. So it helps us with itself.
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for participating in this discussion. I hope that that was useful. Thank you, everyone, for your presentations. They were brilliant. And let's stay in touch and discuss what's going next. So I hope that you will enjoy your Sunday evening, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anna Petrovna. Bye-bye.
Anna Petrovna, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was really interesting.